We've got this week's fantasy baseball ads coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We're going to take a look at the ads to pick up here for this week of fantasy baseball. If you like this type of content, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever we drop an episode. Let's jump right in here to number 10. We've got Jason Foley, 11% owned. Last week he posted 3.2 innings pitched with 2 saves, a strikeout, 9.82 ERA, 1.91 whip. Don't let the blip in ERA fool you. Foley is the real deal, and he's taken over the closer role from Alex Lange. He just posted saves in consecutive days as well, and he's pitched to an 8K per 9 innings pitched with a 2.63 ERA for the season. Now, of course, nothing is quite guaranteed with Foley with regards to that role, but those who are looking for saves, which are hard to find, should give him a try, at least for the short term. Let's go to number 9. We got Stone Garrett, 16% owned, batting 6th in the lineup in Washington. Last week, he had 7 runs scored on 2 homers, 10 runs batted in, and a .500 average. Garrett has been flying under the radar all season, playing a backup outfield role for the Nats. He's now found himself in an everyday role, and he's thriving. He's blessed with plus power and plus speed. Garrett has been contributing in all categories. He just needs to get more aggressive on the base pass to really be a 5-category stud. Let's go to number 8. We've got Jake Burger, 37% owned, batting 5th in the lineup in Miami. Last week, he posted 4 runs on a homer, 7 runs batted in, .458 average. Now, we have featured Burger before. We profiled him as a K-prone, all-or-nothing type of hitter with light tower power. Now, he's on a hot streak. As we speak, he's on a 10-game hitting streak, and that's pushed his average to 240 and his OPS to a very favorable 833. Like Garrett, however, Burger doesn't run much despite having sneaky speed, but owners shouldn't care about that if he keeps hitting the way that he has been. To number 7, we got Tariq Skubal, 44% owned. Last week, he had 6 innings pitched with a win, 7 strikeouts, 1.50 ERA, .67 whip. Lefty fireballers are diamonds in the rough, and Skubal is starting to show his worth. Sub-4 ERA pitchers are ideal to roster, but Skubal adds to that with an elite 1.07 whip on the season with 10 Ks per 9. I would not miss out on this quality arm if he's available on your wire. Let's go to number 6. We got Keibert Ruiz, 58% owned, batting cleanup in Washington. Last week he had 5 runs scored on 2 homers, 6 runs batted in, and a .360 average. Now, I'm a huge fan of rostering catchers who hit in the top half of their team's lineup, and that's exactly where Ruiz is slotted, and he has been very productive, hitting .315 with 14 ribbies over the last month. His stock is rising rapidly, so if you need to roster a catcher, you better act fast if you want to get Ruiz. Let's go to number 5. We got Grayson Rodriguez, 59% owned. Last week he had 7 innings pitched on a win, 6 strikeouts, 1.29 ERA, .57 whip. So Rodriguez's last 30.2 innings pitched looks like this: 1 win, 26 strikeouts versus 9 walks, 2.35 ERA, and a .85 whip. That is a far cry from what we were seeing from him to start the year. Grayson has officially entered my fantasy baseball circle of trust, and I would feel comfortable telling you to pluck him off your waiver wire with confidence. To number 4 we go. TJ Friedl, 59% owned, batting leadoff in Cincinnati. Last week he had 3 runs scored with 2 stolen bases and a .200 average. Friedl makes a return to this list. He's been a revelation hitting atop the Cincinnati order, although not super productive over the last week. Now, Jake Fraley is likely returning to the lineup relatively soon, but he's going to have limitations with that toe injury of his. Friedl may lose a little bit of at-bats down the stretch, but probably not enough to consider taking him off a roster. He is going to be a great source of speed, of steals, and of course he will chip in with the odd homer here and there as well. Let's go to number 3. We got Spencer Torkelson, 48% owned, batting 4th in the lineup in Detroit. Last week he had 6 runs scored, 4 homers, 5 runs batted in, and a stolen base with a .364 average. Torkelson is finally starting to turn it around. That hard-hitting phenom has popped off for 6 homers in the last 2 weeks, backed by a .314 average. And glancing at his StatCast page, it would suggest that the hype is real around Spencer Torkelson, as he is in the top 10% for average exit velocity, hard hit percentage, and barrels. Let's go to number 2. We got Trevor Story, 60% owned, batting 6th in the lineup in Boston. Over the last week, he had 3 runs scored with 3 stolen bases and a 200 average. Story's return hasn't gone quite as well as he, the Boston faithful, and fantasy managers would have hoped. The steals have been a nice addition, and the rest of the production will follow. Story now has second base and shortstop eligibility, which makes the 4-category stud an even more intriguing ad for fantasy teams. And for the number 1 pickup here, we're going to look at Zach Gelof, 55% owned, batting 2nd in the lineup in Oakland. Last week he had 5 runs scored with 2 homers, 5 runs batted in, and a stolen base with a .423 average. He's no real secret anymore, and this might be the last chance to get him on your squad. He's going to have plenty of opportunity for the last place athletics, and he's going to be showcasing that ability of his from the number 2 spot in the lineup. Now, of course, I'd temper runs and RBI expectations from him because of his team, but he could be an elite source of homers and stolen bases on average for your squad. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are going to sign off for now. We're going to catch you guys on our next episode.